Hi. 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 So I'm good, thank you. Hope everyone is well. Hi. All of a sudden, I have my door open and all of a sudden there's like a lot of like leaf blowers and stuff going on out there. So sorry about that. So today we're going to talk about hormones and breakouts, hormonal acne, all that type of thing. And one of the reasons we talk about the subjects that we talk about is because it's mostly on everyone's minds. It really is something that is kind of undertreated or overtreated and undertreated both. And people are kind of left on their own to deal with it and to try and figure it out. And it's hard because there's so many different systems in place. So first of all, we're going to talk about what hormones are. So hormones are chemicals in our body that tell our organs what to do and when to do it, which is super, super critical in our functioning. So usually we're used to talking about estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, but we have 50 different hormones in our body. Those are the hormones most directly related to the imbalances with acne. So we'll kind of get into that, but all different things are hormones and messaging happening in our body at all different levels. So what happens though, just like I always talk about being in our body is in a state of homeostasis, or is always fighting to be in a state of homeostasis. A different IG Live I talked about when we have a fever. That level of our temperature going up, our body fights and it starts sweating and it starts doing all these things to get that temperature to come back down to what our level is that we should be functioning. Same thing with hormones. So the hormones are very tuned into everything. And the certain levels of our hormones are typically within this one range that they should always be. But there's different aspects in our life that cause our hormones to go in different directions and to be off kilter. So pregnancy is one of them, becoming a teenager, getting those hormones to start changing the body, those hormones sending out to our organs to start changing. Testosterone from working out. You will see a lot of people talk about women and hormonal breakouts, but it's very much with men as well. We all carry all three of those hormones, men and women. Men have higher levels of testosterone, but whenever those levels, irregardless of where they are, due to other things that we're doing, are not in this level of homeostasis that our body is used to, that's when things start to spiral. So we're only going to talk about these three hormones because these three hormones are connected to acne breakouts. But other hormones, when they're not on track as well, remember there's 50 of them identified, also cause other problems. We're going to stick to this one because this is our topic and we're talking about the skin. So with that, what happens, why do we break out when our hormones are shooting out different directions and higher this level and higher that level? Well, it's because your production of your oils in your skin get directly affected. So our hormones imbalance create a higher oil production, and that's sebum, and you don't want that. You want, again, that balance, our microbiome is going to be off. So there's multiple ways you can look at that. It's affecting directly to the skin, but also, I love those, but also when our hormones are off, it affects our gut, and our gut directly talks to our skin. So there's multiple levels of that imbalance. But what everyone should keep in mind is this is due to a temporary state of imbalance. So you want to work at what can I do to create my sorry, reading something. How do I create to bring down, so the things that you want to do when that is happening is you want to bring down inflammation. because a lot of that inflammation is due to your gut being off, the biome of your gut being off and creating inflammation in your skin. However, also you want to bring down this oil content that's actually being too pushed out during times of hormonal upheaval. So how do I do that? Well, a lot of people ask about food and how does food take place with this, or how does it work with that? So food is really interesting in that it also, so let's talk alcohol, for instance. Alcohol is an estrogen, or it affects our body like an estrogen. So that's going to affect hormonal imbalances just in and of itself, let alone if you already are within a state of hormonal imbalance due to multiple life reasons. We all experience it. 80% of the population deal with acne breakouts from hormonal upheaval. So it's extremely common, and I think people need to keep that in mind. It is usually a state that will pass and you're going to balance back out, but to view it as a balance is really important. Another thing is inflammation. So you always want to look, no matter what kind of skin condition you're having, you want to look towards inflammatory food for your body. So a lot of that would be dairy or wheat. Also, so you want to bring down the inflammation. And then there's fats. So fats, like alcohol, actually create higher estrogen, or even, by the way, lots of hormones in our meat. So these are things that you can look at for food. But one of the things I wanted to really look at, I'm not getting questions, it's because I'm talking too much. I love questions. If anyone wants to keep, I know I'm going on and on, but I really wanted to build what it is that's happening to the body, because I think that's so important. I think people don't keep that in mind, that this is, you always want to look at where's the inflammation coming from, where's the imbalance coming from, how do I get my body back to this state of homeostasis. So with the skin though, which was really interesting, we talked about all these different things that are going on in the body. Besides taking care of the gut, which is super, super important, you also want to really look at the biome. This is really biome level that we're talking about. So why is my biome off right now? How does alcohol change estrogen in the body? It actually creates an estrogenic state. So it's actually can increase estrogen in the body, which brings in a kilter off. It also can really wreak havoc on the gut as well. So all those other things that we're talking about for the gut, it also plays a part in that. It also is really drying, it's dehydrating. So dehydrating the skin actually causes you to push out more oils. They're steady, you start to see this beautiful skin effect, right? It's beautiful hair, beautiful skin. So that level is allowing the skin, estrogen is responsible so for fullness in the skin, for hydration in the skin, for it's a collagen in the skin. So you start to see this kind of beautiful plumping in the skin but as our estrogen levels go down as we get older, you start to see exactly the opposite. You start seeing the skin kind of doesn't have elasticity anymore, is often dehydrated. So there's a lot. So what do you do about that? So is there a difference between the biome and our skin barrier? So the biome of our skin, yes, there is a difference. So the biome is actually talking about the microorganisms in our skin, on our skin surface, which is super important. The barrier is also part of that, but the biome is more specific, talking about the microbes and your microbe level of bad and good bacteria or microbes in general. And the skin barrier is really talking about the health. That could be even the moisture barrier. It could be a lot of things of how intact that is. A pH is really important also, which can be affected by your hormones being off. So one of the things I really wanted to do was, and also testosterone, by the way, pushes out more oil. So higher testosterone. You'll see that from people working out. You'll see that from, going through puberty when you're a boy, different ages and different reasons. You'll start pushing out that oil. So what do you do? So many people get very hung up on that this has to be something internal that I have to change. But a lot of times it's taking a step back and looking at the biome, looking at how we know that this off-kilter internal, right? Our temporary state of hormonal imbalance is creating an imbalance in our gut and an imbalance in our skin barrier and our microbiome. So instead of looking at, there's not a lot you can do about that. If you have to go through this and your body has to recalibrate, you can reduce stress, you can reduce those things that create further create imbalances such as alcohol. But really just taking a step back and looking at the biome is really what I wanted to do with a VitaBiome Active Skin Optimizer. I really wanted to say, well, what if we look at the skin from, we know it's off kilter, we know it's off balance. What if I look at this biome level and we increase our good bacteria, right, through feeding it with prebiotics? And what if we bring down the bad bacteria with antimicrobials, and we feed it with vitamin therapy? How can we improve the skin, or will it? I mean, it makes sense to me that it would. So how do I really get that back into this state where it needs to be so that it can protect itself? And if it does, despite what's going on hormonally, right, through cycles, monthly cycles, or whatever it happens to be, will that still suffice? So the good news for me is when we created that, we did a lot of clinicals, and the clinicals are backing up that, yes, for sure, it has driven down acne. Actually, the acne bacteria is driven down, and actually the good microbes are driven up, and actually even better, the whole flora is improved. The whole flora is much greater than it was prior to using the product. So there is a way. Is there a way to combat these hormonal changes in our life? No, because we live life, right? We live life. Our hormones are having to change because we have different things going on in our life. But we can really look at the biome, the skin biome, and help it this way. On top of other things we could do, lifestyle things like, cutting down alcohol, looking for what's inflaming your body, keeping hydrated. But on that note, I'm going to add someone in to this call who actually was going through all this. So she was suffering through these hormonal acne and really did our protocol to do that. And I really want you to hear from her, from someone who really did it, how her lifestyle is and how she actually overcame a lot of that breakout cycle that can really cause so much frustration with everyone. So you're on cue. So I'm gonna look for you to see if I can get you to join. Let's see. But in the meantime, Carla, let's see. In the meantime, if you have any other questions, here she's joining. I did it. We did it. Here she is.
Oh my God, I'm in.
And look how incredible her skin looks.
What kind of good here?
So I don't know if I think you probably heard everything that I was talking about. Add to anything else that you think might be interesting for everyone to know of where you were and what you were experiencing.
Totally. So anyway, Kat,
Oh,
thanks for having me.
yes.
And also thanks for, the regime and everything and the instructions of prior to starting the protocol. So just to give you some context, like prior to this, like when I'm due my menstrual cycle, I would have consistently every month a breakout like here, and I've sent through some before photos, and um, that was a consistent thing of like just like red patches and just pimples, as acne essentially. But then as soon as I'm finished my cycle, it will clear up. But that was just like something I was regularly dealing with and anticipating each month. And also down to a little bit of travel. I travel a lot, and obviously with traveling and then the inconsistency of food intake, it just definitely added to the flavor, let's just say. So late May, I received like the regime, and I made a commitment to be very consistent with it and follow the instructions and so on and so forth. And mid or third week of June, I was traveling again. So, but I made a commitment with myself that the products were coming with me, and I was going to stay consistent with the protocol essentially. And I have to say, within like 2 weeks, um, I felt very clear. And then even when it came down to my next cycle as well, I can say wholeheartedly that I saw a difference, which made it more of a reason to travel with the products and it come with me and stay consistent with it. So I can safely say that it sat beautifully with me, this product line. I've experienced a few, and I've dropped some dollar on a lot of skincare. Let's just say that, and it's beautiful to actually have something like really, really sit well with your lifestyle for one, your hormonal imbalance too, and yeah, it's definitely worked for me, and I can kind of give you some insight to the products that I was using and how I used them. Now, I did follow the box and what the box was, the steps in which were stated. I can't give you any science behind it, but I'll leave
I
that
will
to
do
you.
that part. We're
Um,
okay.
so
Yeah, I think what's also important is that that people know that you can actually affect it with skincare if it's attacking the right things. I
mhm,
think people just feel like hopeless a lot.
completely, completely like because the reality is I was still traveling and I was still on that inconsistent, like you're grabbing lunches, you have to go, like I was working, so it's very imbalanced in a sense, but to be able to stay consistent in one thing in those moments of your lifestyle with your skincare, and for that to kind of counteract other things, and I saw that, I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this is a win,
A little
so
bit more
it
of a control,
exact
exactly.
with which I have been able to, like, okay, this is my line, this is what works for me. So just to give you some insight to where I started, is obviously the cleanser, which you can kind of feel it at work immediately. You feel like it's not just like washing your face or cleansing, it's actually doing something as well.
Mhm.
So I loved this.
This is a
Well,
really great cleanser for acne prone, breakout prone skin
mm-hmm,
because it's really looking at the barrier. It's really looking at bacteria overgrowth, and it's not stripping at the same time, which can cause overproduction of oils if
mm-hmm.
it's too stripping.
And then I moved into uh, this guy.
Which is really great. That one actually is in lieu of a toner. So a typical
Mm-hmm,
toner would have heavy alcohol, which strips the skin. The skin reacts the opposite way. A lot of people who have breakout prone skin, I'm going to go fry it,
mm-hmm,
but it's the
mm-hmm.
opposite effect. And this actually has colloidal silver, which is really great for the biome and really great at creating that balance of good versus bad bacteria.
Yeah,
Plus,
and I also feel like a little bit goes a long way. It's like
exactly.
a far away spray, and then I kind of just let it sit on the face and kind of work its
Yeah,
magic.
that's all you
Um,
need.
hmm
Exactly.
So then, just to kind of tone that down a little bit, which was like a soother afterwards, it was like really nice. This guy. Now, I just want to emphasize these products came everywhere with me. um, so yeah, this was afterwards, which felt like a calmer, like it calmed the skin down a little bit and let that settle.
Well,
And that's when
What's great about that is, and I didn't mention this before, but I should have, one of the things that's happening when you have hormonal breakouts also is dead skin cells
Mm,
are staying on the skin surface and creating more of a bad bacterial environment. And that product has a lot of enzymes, so it's giving you this mild but constant exfoliation, which
mm.
allows that pH level to be slightly acidic, which is what you want it to, so it can fight its own battles.
Okay, it's nice to know what's happening and why. All I know is working. Um, and then I would move into, so I'd let that like kind of settle into my face, almost like dry out a little bit, and that's when I'd spray the Vitamin, and which just kind of felt, well, for me at least, it was like I felt like a refresher, you know. It's like, um, and I love spraying this, like even without the regime as well. You know, if you're wash your face and you're on the go, it's just like a nice spray. Um, again, I don't know how and why it's working, but I love it, you know. And I mean,
That is
the
really
whole.
to maximize that balance. So we're
Mm-hmm,
driving down the bad bacteria, giving it prebiotics so your good bacteria and microbes can take over, and then feeding the skin. I'm a firm believer that every skincare should have a healthy dose of vitamin therapy
mm-hmm,
in it. That's how our food is delivered to us. It allows your skin to be protected. So you're getting a lot of that as well
yeah.
from that.
And like I feel like the days that I've been just, you know, brushing even, it's just like this, and then the moisturizer that I'd end up with, you know, it's just like those
And
two,
people
like, you know, on the
should know
go.
you can do that. Like what
Yeah.
you're doing is perfection.
Yeah.
But if you don't have time, you don't always have
Yeah.
time, just that spray. And I do like the fact that you said moisture because a lot of people who have acne prone skin feel like they can't use a moisturizer, but that we just talked about how important it is to have that moisture in the skin,
No,
healthy moisture in the skin.
completely. Like my skin soaks up the moisturizer. It really does. So I need it. And yes, in around when I'm like acne prone, my mind is saying don't use this, but my body is like I need this, you know. So
Right.
um, I like it, and this is beautiful as well. This is so soft and just like even as they get in a little bit into the eye, it's just yeah, it's perfect. So that's been the magic for me, and yeah, I'm a dedicated Cadbury client, and I love it.
Yay.
And
Well, your skin,
no,
we love to have you.
absolutely. And like I mean, you know, you guys have received it before, so you have some context, and also I was tracking some of the developments of my skin progress as well, and I can reshare them again with you. But definitely a uh, success for me at least. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Your skin looks amazing, and thank you for sharing with us. I know that's
Absolutely.
really valuable for people to hear what other people who are using it and how they're using it and how it worked.
No, absolutely. Like, and just to give you some context as well, I'm actually um, due my menstrual cycle in 2 days, and during this week period, I'd be broken out.
And I think that's an important point too, is that a lot of people just treat at the time. If you can
Mm-hmm.
get into a system where you're
Consistent.
feeding the skin beforehand
Mm-hmm.
and bringing down the bacteria, building up your own flora
Mm-hmm.
correctly, really can be preventative as well.
Totally. Yeah, the consistency thing is definitely somewhere I've been um, staying on top of, and I think that adds a lot of points to why my skin is also doing well. You know, it's like I've been consistent with the products, and like I said, on the days that I haven't had the time, it would be this and then the moisturizer. So
Which is what I
that's
wanted that to be
mm,
used for, because not
mm.
everybody has time. Amazing.
Yeah. So that's everything on my side, and I
Yeah,
appreciate you and thank you so
I
much.
appreciate
Yeah.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. I hope
Okay,
you
so
stay
let's,
on. Okay.
yeah, so you kick
I
me out.
don't know how to. I think you have to kick yourself out.
Okay, let's see how I get out.
I don't know.
Oh God, okay. Oh my God.
So someone asked earlier if this is okay for every skin type. It completely is. It really is. It's specialized for breakout prone skin, traveling, heavy conditions in the by heavy conditions like outside environment, living in the city, which I know Carla does, traveling a lot. It's really made for that. But if that's the type of skin you could be anyway. The question about cortisol and how it can affect our hormones. Well, cortisol is a hormone. So do you mean internally or if someone's taking it? But it definitely, any hormone introduced into your body, unless it's taking care of a deficit, can affect other hormones. It definitely can affect the skin, by the way, cortisol. Um, but yeah, that can be that can definitely be used in different regimes when we have anxiety, etc. How I'm sorry. So how does that affect our hormones? Well, I would always start from the beginning, like why is the anxiety happening? So look for inflammation in the gut. Like a lot of that roots from the gut, interestingly, and then so that probably means something else is off kilter there. But I just want to go back to the regime as well. So what you could do with that, let's say I have breakout prone skin, but I also have hyperpigmentation, or I also have fine lines and wrinkles, then I would add in, I would do what she's doing, which is a beautiful routine. Then after the Vitabiome, I would add in a serum, which will actually help you affect one of those other skin concerns, whether it's hyperpigmentation or whatever it may be, and then you would use your moisturizer. So I hope I answered all the questions. If there are any more, I'll give you a couple more minutes to talk to bring them forward. Really, really interesting, I think, for people to know that hormonal acne can be tempered. And it actually, I mean, her skin was absolutely beautiful by looking at the biome and thinking about the biome that way. Which serum do you like for this regime? That's a really good question. For breakout prone skin, what I would like to do is probably keep something, if you have hormonal skin and you're losing elasticity and you're losing firmness, form control would be an amazing serum to add into this. You would add that before the C cream and after the Vitabiome. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Yes, Vitabiome is really having a moment. I think it's really overdue to look at it that way and to really look at the really study how the biome is working. And there's so much science going on how our gut biome is affecting everything and our skin biome. And for people not to feel so trapped in just my body's doing this and I have no control, because you can really take a step back and do that. So, well, thank you, everybody. I loved it. Thank you, Carla, for joining. That was amazing. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.